Fiscal Court. As is customary, we like to open our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. This morning I've asked one of our masters, Jimmy Wielden, if he would be so kind to open us up. If you'd all please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Jim.
Thank you.
I wish.
Go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of our minutes from our previous meeting. You all received a copy of those. Do you have any changes or recommendations you need to make?
Motion to accept.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we've got a few items of old business. We have second reading first of the Personnel Policy and Administrative Code, and it's my understanding, Martin, that we need to do this as one unit, correct?
In the past, I know the courts always adopted a separate personnel policy, but when you look from the administrative code, when you look at the statute, it says the administrative code is supposed to. So the statute really indicates that the personnel policy is supposed to be a part of the administrative code. So when Donita and I were talking about it, is she here? I see her. I asked her just to include the personnel policy in the administrative code. Of course, the court is required by law to review it in June annually, and so now instead of having two documents to keep up with, you'll just have one set of documents, and the personnel policy is a part of the administrative code, as it legally it should be.
And there's one thing I want to point out in this that we've had made this change, and I think you all are all aware of it, but we talked for the last few years about requiring new hires to get their CDLs within a 6-month period. That's actually in this administrative code. The current employees that are there will be grandfathered in, but any new hires after July 1st, we will require within a 6-month period to obtain their CDLs.
And let me add to that too. If it is required for your essential job function, you can't be hired without a CDL.
Yeah, so drivers and operators.
Correct.
Have their CDLs, but any skilled labor, any general labor we hire will be required within 6 months. That's part of their job is to obtain those. It gives us the ability to do more work and do it better, more efficiently.
Motion.
We've got a motion then to approve the second reading of the administrative code and personnel policy. Do we have a second?
I'll second, but I got a question.
We've got a second. Further discussion?
Does that include a salary thing, or is that a separate vote?
Separate.
It does include the salary schedule
Right.
and position descriptions and that sort of thing.
But we'll need to go in and actually,
Yeah.
I think it's on here to actually approve the salaries.
Yes.
Yep. So we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? They know. Next then will be fiscal year 19 and 20 bids, acceptance of those. We received those in court 2 meetings ago, and the committee has met and reviewed those. And what was the recommendation from the committee?
Recommend to accept all the bids, except there was one that was not in compliance.
Okay, so we just need to motion then to approve the,
Wanted constructions, Northlake Construction.
wasn't in compliance.
So accept all of them except Norfleet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve these bidders. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next in, new business, we have to approve the fiscal year 2019-20 salaries. You've got a copy of those.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, was it, all the salaries stayed the same from last year?
The only way they would not stay the same from when it came in, when we voted, when you all voted on them in January, is if they have received a step raise.
Step raise meaning an automatic raise, or?
Yeah, well, I don't want to say automatic, it's per performance appraisal by the supervisor, but if you go from, if you've looked at our salary schedule, you've got 0 to 12 months, 12 to 24, and then over 24.
Okay, so time on job.
Time, yes.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, then we have a couple bid openings. We've got a rubber modified asphalt bid opening. Mark, you've got those, right?
I've got 3 bids here. For something. Here's a rubber modified playground surfacing bid and an oil lubricants bid. So you want to open the rubber modified asphalt?
Yes, please.
Okay. Looks like that's from Hinkle Contracting. I'll use the Johnny Tuttle donated Wanger knife.
That's why we
Donated
had
for
to
this-
get electric doors.
For this very purpose, a year or two ago. Bid for the 2019 Waste Tire Rubber Modified Asphalt Grant. It's got some specifications in here. One of them is a lump sum of 101, comma 490.00, $101,490. Then the second set of specifications, that bid is for $68,475. Let's see. It was stamped into the clerk's office on June 24th at 3:35 p.m. I'm not sure. I guess I assume that was timely. Does anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we need a motion then to accept this bid for review.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And then next, we have a resilient safety surfacing bid. Your playground.
Yep.
surface.
Johnny, if you're watching, you might ought to come get this knife and sharpen it. Was this just for Pulaski Park?
Yes, we wrote a grant, and part of the process is, once we got accepted, we had to remit one playground that it's pour in place, similar to what's at Summersport Park.
This is shelter 678 playground area, $29,040.
Is that the one on the hill?
And it was received June 24th.
Is that the only bid for that?
Only bid for that.
We need a motion then to accept that bid for review.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. And finally, we have an oil/lubricant bid opening.
Yep. And the reasoning that this is for equipment, because when we advertised, we didn't have a company that submitted a bid, so we asked permission to re-advertise.
And there's only one bid to open. Had to be stamped in the clerk's office by 4 p.m. on June 24th. This was stamped in on June 24th at 11:15, and it's from Cumberland Oil, Inc., here in Somerset, and there's a whole lot of different bid numbers on here based on quantities and types of oil and fluids, et cetera.
Motion to accept for review?
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. That motion carries. Are these timely where we need to do this before court's over today?
Yes.
Can I have maybe then you and we get
Danny.
Danny, would you want Eugene?
Yeah, and Danny, because this is part of the ground.
Okay, Eugene, if you and Danny would go with Dan,
Next.
well, I can make his report for
Okay.
him, probably.
You can go next and then go do it real quick.
Or do you, I've still got to do this. Yeah, y'all can go and I'll
Recommend the.
I can recommend rock and road work requests. Okay, next then, we've got a aerial photography resolution. If you remember, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we had a project called LiDAR that the state was going to do in Pulaski County, and we just basically had to be the pass-through for them to do the work. This is another leg of that project, and the ad, I guess, or I'm sorry, DLG will actually do matching funds with state and federal, I believe. But they have asked Pulaski County if we will once again be the agent, the pass-through agent for this LiDAR, which is a high-resolution 3D aerial imagery of all of Pulaski County and surrounding counties. So I need a resolution to do that, and I guess permission to sign the contract, if that would be your desire.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the resolution.
Question. So we don't have to come up with this money?
That's not us,
It says at the bottom that we are required no matching funds.
Okay, so we're not matching anything.
If you read the last paragraph.
We've got a motion and a second for this resolution. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then, I guess I need to ask permission to sign that too.
You have
then.
to sign something,
And then
yeah.
I have to enter into this. Do you have a copy of this contract?
Permission for Steve to sign the contract?
And
Second.
you've not reviewed this, have you?
I've not seen it.
Let me,
I think it's probably the same one we did previously. I can take a quick glance at
Well, let
it.
me ask for, okay, well, I was going to say, sign it with after your review.
Got this deal on the resolution.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you got a copy of that or not, but anyway, a motion to sign it based upon Martin's blessing. So we've got a motion. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next then, we'll be our department reports. In the absence of Eugene, I will ask that, first of all, we purchased 3,000 ton of rock.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And then we've got road work requests. I don't believe there's any speed limit
Motion.
signs, are there? We have a motion to accept the road work request
Second.
and a second.
Can I add something? We've had some issues with the tractor and stuff in my district, and we're running behind on my goal to having the first cut done by July 4th. Is there any way we can get additional tractors out there to finish this up and over the next couple of weeks and get this first cut done?
You talking about renting
Mowing.
or from
Mowing.
purchasing or taking from other
No,
districts? or-
wherever we need to do to, I mean, we're about a little over halfway done with the first cut. And we just need some additional help because our tractor's been down, we've kind of been limited. So I'm just asking, I've seen a lot of calls about grass cutting, and I'm just just gonna put that out there that we're behind. And we could use some extra help. And I've been talking to Eugene, and the guys are doing great. It's just that we're falling behind with all the rain, the trees down, and the tractor being ramped down and all that, so.
As everybody else's districts, are you all experiencing same?
I'd say we're all behind. I know I'm behind on my one, but all this rain, it's hard to get caught up.
Well, and then they're trying to learn the new tractors. I mean, they're getting pretty good now, but, there's a little learning curve too, so. Mine's like several areas are getting.
So,
We're running behind because our tractor's actually been broke down. So I know they've had another, I know Danny's had another one, and he's doing everything he can, but,
Back up now, it'll be back up tomorrow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but we just
the new
need some
tractors
extra
you
help
bought?
because
is the extra tractor spending time in your district?
It's running.
it's running right now. Danny's using
So,
the one, so, but we're just falling behind.
One of the new ones had to have something replaced.
what's that?
One of the new ones had to have something replaced.
Yeah.
Will it be back going tomorrow?
I'm just asking for a little bit more help. I mean, I know I got one of the biggest districts, and it's, without extra help, we'll never get it 2 cuts done during the spring and summer.
Let me just try to talk with Eugene and figure out what solution we can without having to rent anything. I don't know if we've got the manpower, even if we rented right now, to do anything extra with.
We just, it's the thing that needs, every district needs 2 cuts during the spring and summer. And last year, we had trouble with that, and we're already starting behind right now. So I'm just trying to keep us on focus on what we need to do for our district, so.
One of the things, Mark, and you're probably aware of this, is, and Gene, you chime in, they left oil out of something on that mower from the manufacturer, and it busted the mowing deck or something. And it took a while before they came in, and so you're set for.
You missed our conversation
I'm
when I
sorry.
said that.
Okay. I'm sounding like you won't talk all the time.
And I'm just trying to take care of my district, so.
Let me work on that.
How long was your mower down, your tractor down?
How long was it down the first time?
It was down around a week, but we had the side mower out there and
Yeah, we had the side
Okay, so you
mower.
weren't totally without while,
No, just, we got so big of an area, if I figured it up right, if you do 2 passes on every road in my district, that's 1,200 miles for 1 cut. And we're trying, my goal is 2 cuts in the spring and summer, so, so people not, they're already saying that, the grass is hitting their cars that they're going down the road and all that. As big as a district as I can, we just need extra help out there. And my goal was to have the first cut done by July 4th, second by Labor Day, and we're falling behind. That's why I want to bring it up now, so come Labor Day, we're not really far behind, so.
it doesn't stop raining, we're all gonna be far behind, and put blacktop far behind, and
I'll talk with Eugene, just see what options are available. Try to get back to you.
if it comes to rentals, talk to me too, because we can't afford to bust our budget before we even start it.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right, so
Get rid of that problem next year.
we've got a motion and a second, then on road work request. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You all have a recommendation there?
Yes,
On these bids?
we recommend that you accept the bids.
Motion to accept all bids?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do those need to be separate since they're for 2 different things?
The bids,
Yeah, because one for the rubber,
There's 3 different, he said all bids.
First 2.
I think they're fine in one unless there's some
Okay.
objection.
all right, just,
So we voted, didn't we? Throw me off, John.
Yep.
When you mark. Thank you. All right, next in on the agenda will be Linda Burnett, our county clerk. You have something for us today?
She can pass on that. We've got that taken care of, so she can pass. I speak for her.
I was hoping she's bringing us a check again.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
All right, next then will be solid waste. Danny, I think you've got your budget to present.
Yeah, I'd just like to present the court the 109 Board Protected Budget for 2019-2020 that was approved at our meeting on the 17th.
Y'all got a copy of the budget? Any questions or entertain a motion to accept it?
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I say job well done over there, Danny.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
We appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Helping us keep our county clean.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, that motion
Who
carries.
remembers that one?
Ralph Troxel.
Uh-huh.
All right, next then, we've got Aaron Ross with 911. He's got a policy procedure to present.
We've had policy and procedure in the past, but it was really outdated. So my staff and I, we've put together, took what was out of that one, added some stuff in there, some issues we've seen, and also the state accreditation with the Kentucky Association of Chiefs of Police. We took their recommendations and had to include that in there also. Most of the policy, I say most, some of this is coming from our county policy manual. I put that, I think, in red letters in here. And most other stuff is mainly just our procedures for dispatching procedures and stuff like that. I'd like to ask the court to approve this manual so we can get this implemented over there.
Motion approved.
We have a motion to approve. Second? Wilton, second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you.
Takes us one step closer, by the way, to getting accreditation, so I appreciate your work on that. I know it's a lot of work went into that. Next then will be our treasurer, Joan. You've got a
sorry,
few
my turn?
things, it looks like.
Cool. Oh, yeah, I have. This is really not my favorite court meeting of the year because it's the last one of the fiscal year, so I have a lot of stuff to do. The first item we have would be the bill list.
I've received a copy of the bill list. Any questions? Or will entertain a motion to accept it?
Motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And to go along with the bill list, I have, well, I've lost one, it's on, but I have two invoices that need to be also paid within this fiscal year. They are to Hinkle Contracting. One is, as you'll see, it's quite a bit, but it is, oh, here it is. It is for paving for Goochtown Road, and it's quite a large amount, but it is discretionary funds. So while as we are putting this money out, we will be getting it back as soon as we get a canceled check back, so.
So it's unfortunate on discretionary that they don't just give us the money and let us pay the bills. Instead, we have to pay the bills and then wait for them to pay us back, so.
And the other one on Hinkle, for Hinkle Contracting, is for North Robinson Way. And it's a very small amount.
Motion to pay both bills.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, the second item I have is at long last, finally, the second reading of our budget. It has been advertised, it has been signed off by the state local finance officer, and there were no changes with the state, with DLG, so it is ready to go.
Motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And I just want to publicly thank you, gentlemen, because I know as far as treasurers across the state go, you're always one of the first to get yours done and turned in, and I know it's always a big battle for you.
Well, you know, I got it turned in good, but it sat on Commissioner's desk for a while. Was not happy about that because I was stressing. But thank you very much.
We appreciate your work.
Well, I enjoy my work, and I enjoy working with you all. I also have the second reading of the budget amendment, a budget amendment amending in $873,678 to various funds. We did have one change made by DLG of an account code, one that I'd had for like 15 years, and they decided it needed to be changed.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And I will have to have your signature on those last two items that went through, Judge. Budget transfers would be my next item. That is, basically, it's a housekeeping issue. We do this every year, and it cleans up the accounts.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
And the last item I have is a fund transfer. It's to the general, it's from the grant fund to the general fund. What happened is the state deposited our in lieu of taxes money into the grant fund, and I need to transfer that out.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Got one item that was not on the agenda, but I think I've mentioned it to most of you, that we've got a position open on the Western Pulaski Water District Board, and I'd like to, Jimmy Dalton, his term is up, and I would like to appoint Amy Polston to fill that board seat. It'll be a 4-year appointment.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And also not on the agenda, but I want to give an opportunity. I know our mayor's with us here today, and I want to put him on the spot. And then, of course, Chris Girdler is here today with SPEDA. If you all would like to share anything with the court, I know, Mayor, you had a meeting last night, and if you wanted another opportunity to say anything, I'll open it.
I didn't plan to, but I'm happy to. Do I need to address the podium?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Or Ross will
I
yell.
know you've got some big things on your agenda, and I know you're asking for help, so.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is I'm going to ask to talk and to communicate and have dialogue with each of you. This could touch pieces of all your districts, and I know that you guys are passionate and you're going to want to be informed. And so I hope this will evolve into a community discussion. Tonight we're going to be doing a Facebook Live, which might not mean something to everybody, but it is a great way to hear from hundreds of people and give them the opportunity. I actually came to fiscal court today just to participate. One of the things that we've tried doing as a city government is better understanding and learning what you all are doing day in, day out. And so I think that there's been a representative from my administration here at every meeting, whether it's myself or our city attorney, John, Aaron Dockery, an engineer in the city, Jeffrey has come. And that's not to get in the way by any means. It's to further the discussion and the communication. And Judge has been great to work with, and I haven't had an opportunity to spend as much time with the magistrates, but I hope that in this annexation process, we may learn that people don't want it. It'll be up to me to make the case of why it's best for us moving forward as a community. I think that it does have the opportunity to transform our community for growth and really lead us into the next 20 or 30 years. I believe in the philosophy that you adapt or die. And as communities all around us, Danville and London and Richmond and Corbin, are growing and starting to prosper, we're going to have to make some tough choices to move this community forward. I also recognize, and that's not going to turn into a speech, I'll wrap this up soon, although I'm kind of enjoying this. Getting to stand at the podium fiscal court is the first. Dan, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I recognize that this will cost people some money. And what the ask will be is that we'll come together as a community and say, even if we all have to give a little, we're going to get a lot because of the growth and prosperity that we'll share together. Actually, for the magistrates, this probably will be a financial win for fiscal court. Should this happen, we would be taking more area and responsibility and not equivalent amount of revenue away from your budget. I actually think it'll be a win. Now, some of that will be made up. I recognize that if you live in the city, you got to pay a city property tax. I'd like to say at fiscal court that this has nothing to do with school districts. They won't change. I get asked that a lot, and that's not going to be impacted at all. And so over the coming months, and that may be 2 or 3 months, it may be 2 years. I don't know. I think that'll be up to the feedback that we get. But I'm going to make my case on why I think it's best. Another important note is that I'm talking about unincorporated Somerset. Folks that have Somerset on their address. We're not talking about Nancy or Eubank or Science Hill or Ferguson or Burnside. Those are cities or communities, and it's important that they stay that way. But what I am talking about is folks that live in a contiguous manner to the city limits already or are close, that they have the opportunity to come into the city, and that we can become a city of 20,000 plus and have some clout to do some things that we're not doing now. So all that I would ask, and I had a conversation with a gentleman in the audience earlier, and he said, look, I don't like it. And I said, I understand that, and I respect that, and I hope that we can continue to have a dialogue and a conversation. This will not be a community monologue. And so if you have feedback, give it to me. The challenge for me will be to wade through what is passable versus what the community actually wants. Are there 1,000 or 2,000 folks that are upset, and how does that feel, and how do we weigh that over the 9 or 10 or 12,000 that might want to come in? And so I'll be asking for your all's help. But I firmly believe this is best for our community to go forward. I think that a lot of the city council believes the same. I'll close with this. This is in no way, shape, or form a money grab or a power grab. We are trying to expand the city limits because I think it's best for the area, but this is not. In fact, this is probably bad politics for Alan Keck. I also get that, and that's okay. I didn't sign up for this job for life. I got 4 years, and so we're going to try to rock and roll and get as much done as we can. So I just ask for you to continue to listen, let us make our case. And then one last thing, I'd like to brag on Anthony McCollum again. He waved in the middle of the meeting, and I got another reminder how tremendous his efforts and his inmates have been across the county, but in the city limits as well. They've really helped us, and I got to go spend some time with a group of them, and I told them I'd buy them all a book. One of my favorite books is The Obstacle is the Way, and I hadn't got it to them yet. I purchased the books, but I haven't. And they reminded their supervisor, said, the mayor promised us some books. Now he needs to bring those by, and so I'm going to do that soon, Jailer. But thank you for your efforts, and Steve and Fiscal Court, thanks for the opportunity to speak a little bit. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, Gerber, anything you want to share today? All right. Well, if we have no further business,
I was going to, we were talking about mowing earlier, not just for your all's information. I know you get, the magistrates, I know you all get questions about people blowing grass clippings on the road, and the criminal littering statute really doesn't apply to that, so you can tell your constituents that. But there is a bill that's been pre-filed in the House, and Senator Carroll is going to pre-file the same bill in the Senate that would address the issue of grass clippings on the roadway and getting those removed as quickly as possible. I know y'all get calls about that, because I do. So that would be your response. At this point in time, the criminal littering statute doesn't really address it, but there's potential legislation in the next session that may, if it passes. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, no further business. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
You have a second? Second. All in favor? Thank you all.